listeners and viewers, welcome to Kaduna State Ministry of Education Radio and TV e-learning program designed for our SS3 and other students staying at home due to the coronavirus pandemic. The present administration, under the able leadership of His Excellency, Malam Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, is positioned, as always, to ensure that under his leadership, our students are not left behind in all areas of human endeavors, especially education. Kaduna State is the center of learning. Therefore, we want to ensure that our students excel in their forthcoming examinations and beyond. Students and other learners at home are given this opportunity in order to continue learning, as education is a continuous process. Different subjects will be taught in this program to assist students to perform excellently in the forthcoming Senior School Certificate examination being conducted by NECO and WAEC as soon as schools reopen. Teachers making presentations will always provide their names and phone numbers during each presentation, and they can be contacted for questions, further explanations, and/or clarifications. The following numbers and contacts can also be reached for expression of any concern or observation: 090-865-00545 or 080-383-62072. Our website is www.education.kdsg.gov.ng. Our email, education@kdsg.gov.ng or education.kdsg@gmail.com. Our YouTube channel, Ministry of Education, Kaduna State. Our Twitter handle, @Kaduna_MOE. Or our Facebook page, Ministry of Education, Kaduna State. Stay safe, stay at home, and learn well. Thank you, happy listening, and happy viewing.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا ومولانا محمد بن عبد الله المبعوث إلى كافة الأنام المنعوت في التوراة والإنجيل أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Students, you are welcome to the next edition of Islamic Studies in the ongoing e-learning program of Kaduna State Ministry of Education. My name is Jibril Ahmad Shehu. Our topic of discussion is Principles of Inheritance. Under this topic, we are going to discuss the following headings. Definition of inheritance. What is inheritance? We are going to see the Islamic way of inheritance. Bequest, wasiya, then waqf, charitable endowment, then the benefits of Islamic inheritance. We are starting with the definition. What is inheritance? What do we mean by the term inheritance? Inheritance in Arabic means mirath. This means transfer of wealth or property from the deceased person to his closest relatives. How the wealth is transferred from somebody who is dead to his closest relatives. This is called inheritance. Many customs, many traditions, some religions adopt different ways of inheritance. Some leave the sharing of inheritance to the will of the original owner of the wealth, who is allowed to leave a will disposing all his property. Islam allows a will but regulates it. We are going to study all this under this topic, inshallah. Some customs leave the wealth in the hands of the eldest son. He is to take care of the others. Some customs exclude women completely from inheritance. Some even make the woman property to be shared. But when Islam comes, it didn't follow all those before Islam, the methods, the ways of inheritance before Islam. Islam came with its own ways of inheritance. The shares of inheritance are shared according to the relationship with the surviving relatives. How close are you to the deceased person? That is what determines how much you get or what you get from his property. If closest relatives are alive, that is father, mother, wife, children, if these are alive, then other distant relatives are excluded from inheritance. They will not inherit the deceased person if these kind of people are around. But in the absence of these closest relatives, the distant relatives now can come in, such as brothers, sisters, uncles, grandfathers, grandmothers. They can come in the absence of father, mother, wife, and children. Before the wealth is shared, the deceased person's debts, if any, if there are some debts upon him, and the funeral expenses must be deducted. All these are deducted before the remaining wealth is shared. Because the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, the life of a person is stranded if there is a debt upon him until this debt is paid. Sometimes, from the beginning, the Prophet doesn't even pray on the corpse that is having a debt upon it. In Islamic way of inheritance, a bequest, that is wasiyah, will, must be removed, not exceeding 1/3 of the total wealth. If somebody leaves a will that if he dies, so amount or this so property should be given to so person, this is removed before the share of this remaining wealth. And the regulation is that the wasiyah, the bequest, the will must not exceed 1/3 of the total wealth of the deceased person. Such bequest must not be made in favor of anybody who is entitled to a share of inheritance. Somebody cannot write a will giving some part of his property to somebody who is having a share of inheritance within the family. Example, father cannot make a will that some estate, some property should be given to one of his children who is equally entitled to the inheritance. In the principles of Islamic inheritance, female have a share of inheritance. In some customs, women are not given inheritance. Islam now said women are entitled to inheritance. A male heir will normally receive double the share of his female counterpart. That is, a son gets double the share of a daughter. Allah says, "Yusikumullahu fi awladikum lidhakari mithlu hazzil unthayayn." Allah instructs you concerning your children, that is, portions of inheritance. For the male, what is equal to the shares of two females. This reflects the greater financial responsibilities of men as the maintainers of women and children. Male child brings in a woman that he will take care of. The children are upon him, he is to take care of them. But a female child will be taken care of by another man. The children she will bear there will be taken care of by another person. Therefore, Islam looks at this and says man should take double the share of a female heir. Relatives of different religions do not automatically inherit. The relatives of different religions do not automatically inherit. A Muslim cannot inherit his non-Muslim relative, nor a non-Muslim relative inherit from his Muslim relative. They can, however, be given a bequest, will. If a will is made in their favor within this 1/3 of the total wealth. If there is that provision, Islam allows that, but inheritance is forbidden if there is a difference in religion. In the case of homicide, the person guilty of murder is barred from inheriting the person he murdered. If somebody kills somebody who is related to him and he is entitled to inheritance, then he is barred. He cannot inherit somebody he killed. If a son kills his father, thinking maybe if he dies, he will get his own part of inheritance, Islam now forbids him from taking any part of that inheritance. He will not inherit his late father. Why? Because he is the reason behind his death. Wasiyah. We've been saying something about wasiyah during our lessons. It is lawful. It is lawful to leave up to 1/3, 1/3 of the total wealth as a bequest to be given out before the general distribution of property. It is allowed in Islam to write a will or to tell somebody that if I die, this and that of the properties should be given to this and that of my people. This is to enable the testator, meaning to enable the deceased person to help anybody who is not among the entitled heirs, but whom he wishes to assist in form of gift at his death. This person is close to him, but if he dies, he is not among the heirs. He has no share of inheritance. He cannot inherit anything from him, but he wants to help him. If he dies, he can write a will that if I die, this and that should be given to this person. It is allowed in Islam, and this is called wasiyah, bequest or will. He can also do that in favor of a charitable cause or organization for public welfare. He can use part of his bequest that if I die, the social house should be given to a mosque or a charitable organization, orphanage, or something like that for the welfare of public consumption. All such bequests should be made in good faith. If somebody is making a bequest, it is to be made in good faith, in fairness, not with intention of depriving his close relatives. You don't make bequest, wasiyah or will with the intention that if I die, I don't want these children or this lady to get much from me. Therefore, you intend to give out something to bequest like that. No, it is not allowed in Islam. God looks at your intention. So bequest or will should not be made with the intention of depriving some of your heirs from inheritance. Waqf means charitable endowment. Charitable endowment. This is the process of making a will of some of the property not exceeding 1/3 to public benefit. Will and waqf are two different things. Will can be given to individual. Waqf can be given to an organization like mosque, hospitals, scholarship funds for students, and something like that. But will is for individual. Will can be given to individual, will can be given to charitable endowment. but waqf is mainly for charitable endowments. Will is mainly for charitable endowments, not for individual. Like will, it is also within the 1/3 of the total wealth. Waqf, will, all together should not exceed 1/3 of the total wealth of the deceased person. If somebody possesses a house which he donates to a school or orphanage after death, the money or the movable or unmovable property can be used, either rent, or it can be used as hospital, it can be used as school, it can be used as a rent, house rent, in which the benefit of the rent will be going to that hospital or that school or any of the charitable organizations. This has been taking place in many Islamic countries. But unfortunately here, waqf is even unknown to many people. Maybe if some of our rich people know about waqf, this will go a long way in solving many problems. They can take care of mosques, they can take care of schools, they can take care of scholarship, they can take care of orphanage homes, and so many things in which your reward continue coming even after your death. If somebody dies, it becomes the end of his good deeds, unless for 3 reasons. This is one of them. As-sadaqah al-jariyah, the continued sadaqah that continues even after your death. It is a charitable and profitable venture that one will go and meet hereafter, but many of us don't even know about it. Alternatively, he may direct that a house be kept in trust and its rent be taken to finance the running of a school or orphanage or maintenance of mosque or any other charitable venture. The property may be movable, the property may be immovable. Now, what are the benefits of Islamic system of inheritance? What is the difference between those we've said before and this Islamic system of inheritance? The system of inheritance ensures that the closest relatives have the greatest benefits. How close you are to the deceased person determines what you get from his property. This means that the closest relatives get the lion's share of the benefit or of the inheritance. Many relatives can get shares, unlike some systems whereby the total wealth is given to the eldest person to run. In Islamic system of inheritance, many relatives can get shares of inheritance. Provision is made for bequest. There is a provision for bequest. If you want to assist somebody who is not a member of your family or even is not entitled to inheritance, you can write a will, there is allowance, there is a chance for that bequest in Islam. There is no favoritism in Islamic system of inheritance, whereby the deceased shows his or her preference for one person over others, giving much to him and less or none to others. Somebody can love more one of his children than others, or one of his wives than others. If he is allowed to share his own property among them, he can give much to somebody, giving less or none to others. That is not in Islamic inheritance, because shares are made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which we will look at inshallah in our next lesson. Males and females receive shares weighted to take account of their respective financial responsibilities. Males are given twice the share of girls or females. This is in line with the financial responsibilities on men more than the women. men have more responsibilities on them than women. Men take care of their children, wives, while women are being taken care of by men. Therefore, Islam gives twice a share of female to a male child. Wealth is divided up and widely distributed whenever death occurs, thus helping to prevent concentration of wealth in the hands of few. It is shared among the heirs so that nothing is left on the ground for somebody to take responsibility of holding or saying that he is going to take care of others. Everybody should take his own share and nothing is left. Summary. There are three relationships that qualify somebody to inheritance. There are three kinds of relationships that qualify somebody to inheritance. A. Blood relationship. Are you related to the deceased? What is the relationship? Blood relationship. 2. Marriage. If somebody has a wife, because of this marital status between them, he can inherit her. The woman can inherit her husband. Why? Not because of blood relationship, but because of marital relationship between him and his wife, or between her and her husband. The third one is slavery, wala. If somebody has a slave, he frees that slave and the slave dies, leaving nobody to have his inheritance, then that very person that frees him or her is entitled to inheritance. Because if he or she is still a slave, he cannot own a property. Whatever a slave has is for the master. But as he frees him or her, he is no longer a slave and can earn property. If he dies and nobody to inherit her, then his master or her master can now come in as somebody that will inherit from him or her. That is what we mean by wala. There are certain conditions before inheritance can take place. There are certain conditions before inheritance can take place. 1. Death of the original owner of the property. There must be death before inheritance can take place. One cannot be alive and share his properties himself. A condition to inheritance is death of the owner of the original owner of the property. You cannot be alive and distribute your properties. It is not allowed in Islam. Even if you do it after death, it will be reversed because Allah has done that himself. Nobody can do it other than the way Allah does it. Sharers or heirs of the estate or wealth. There should be people that will inherit from the deceased person. If somebody dies leaving nothing behind, there's nothing about inheritance. But if somebody dies and there are estates, there are properties, there is wealth to be shared, then there is going to be inheritance. The third one is the wealth to be shared. The wealth to be shared. The second one is the sharers, those that will inherit. If somebody dies leaving nobody behind, there's nothing like inheritance. If somebody dies leaving nothing behind, leaving nobody behind to inherit from him, there's nothing like inheritance. Baytul Mal will take care of his wealth. The wealth is for Baytul Mal because no any blood relationship, no any marital relation, no any slavery, nobody to inherit from him. He comes from somewhere else, nobody knows his relatives, and he dies. Then the wealth is for Baytul Mal, nobody to inherit it, and therefore there's no anything like inheritance in this case. The wealth should be there to be inherited. If there is wealth, there is something to share. There are sharers, there are heirs, but nothing to share. Then there's nothing like inheritance. because he died. If there is debt upon him, then these shares are to even share the the debt between themselves and pay the debt. Before I leave you, I would like to give you an assignment to keep you busy. Number 1, describe any non-Islamic systems of inheritance which you may be aware of. Apart from the ones I mentioned, if you know any of the systems of inheritance which is not Islamic, I would like to know it from you. 2, list 6 general principles affecting Islamic inheritance. 3, look up Quran chapter 4 verses 7 to 12 and study the inheritance laws outlined there. 4, up to what amount of an estate can be given out as will to non-heir or charity? I will take the assignment again. Number 1, describe any non-Islamic systems of inheritance which you may be aware of. 2, list 6 general principles affecting Islamic inheritance. 3, look up Quran chapter 4 verses 7 to 12 and study the inheritance laws outlined there. Number 4, up to what amount of an estate can be given out as will to non-heir or charity? My contact number 08060235708. In case of any inquiry, in case of any question, call me, text me, or via WhatsApp 08060235708. My name still remains Jibril Ahmad Shehu. Jibril Ahmad Shehu. Email address jibahmads@gmail.com. Stay at home, stay safe, read your books, remain healthy. If you are to go out, make sure you put on your face masks. Make sure you keep on washing your hands. Keep social distance. Obey all the rules given to you by the doctors. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.